much that Jaylen Clark shoes were going to come out. I know I'm not crazy, man. Y'all get in the comment section and let me know if I'm tripping. But I remember seeing some hype about some signature shoes. And then once AJ had that article come out, it got a little wonky. The Nike started, I don't know, they started acting like they were shelving the idea. And then they started, focusing on A'ja Wilson shoes. But the thing about it is, what came out later is that A'ja...
Okay, so did you catch that? An NBA player just admitted he picked his jersey number specifically because of Jaylen Clark. Not LeBron, not Kobe, not Jordan, Jaylen Clark. And he literally said out loud, hopefully I get some jersey sales, because he knows what everybody in sports is finally waking up to. But here's what's absolutely wild about this whole thing, and I'm gonna show you exactly why Nike is probably kicking themselves right now. Because what you're about to see isn't just about shoes or jersey numbers. This is about how one of the biggest companies in the world completely fumbled what could have been the most profitable signature shoe launch in women's sports history. And the evidence? It's everywhere. You're seeing NFL players rocking her PE, top high school recruits choosing her colorways, even video game characters wearing her shoes. But here's the kicker, she doesn't even have a signature shoe yet. So what happened? Because I'm gonna show you the exact moment when everything changed, and trust me, most people completely miss this.
NFL, as I'm looking right here, you got Stefon Diggs rocking her PEs. Oh my goodness, Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs, man. If y'all don't know, this one of the good wide receivers in the league. Fire player. Rocking her P's. Come on, man. And you got some people who said, they're Kobe's, but okay. Man, y'all know what that color scheme is. That is Indiana Fever color scheme. Those are Caitlin's PEs, fam.
Hold up. Stefon Diggs, one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL, is wearing Jaylen Clark's colorway. Let that sink in for a second. We're talking about a male professional athlete in a completely different sport choosing to wear her shoes. And check this out. Some people tried saying, oh, those are just Kobe colors, but come on, that's Indiana's color scheme. That's Caitlin's PE. The mental gymnastics people do to avoid giving her credit is actually insane, but this is just the surface level stuff. What you're not seeing is the business disaster happening behind the scenes at Nike headquarters. Because here's what most people don't realize. There was a very specific moment when Jaylen Clark was supposed to get her signature shoe. The timeline was set. The hype was building. Industry insiders were dropping hints everywhere. And then something happened that changed everything. I'm talking about a complete 180 that cost Nike potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. And the wildest part? We have receipts.
Both of the #1 players in the class of 2025 wear Jaylen Clark's shoes. This is crazy work, man. Jasmine got her P's on right here. Oh my goodness. And then look at this. You got AJ leaping out the gym with the P's on, man. Beautiful work. Oh my goodness.
Look at this, both #1 players in the class of 2025 wearing her shoes. These are the future stars of women's basketball, and they're not wearing signature shoes from established WNBA legends. They're wearing Jaylen Clark's PEs. Jasmine Davidson and AJ Dybantsa, the top recruits in the entire country, making a statement about who they look up to. Now think about what that means from a marketing perspective. Nike's entire business model is built on getting the next generation hooked on their products through athlete endorsements. And these kids are already sold on Jaylen Clark without her even having a signature shoe. The organic demand is off the charts. So why wouldn't Nike capitalize on this immediately? Why would they delay? Why would they pump the brakes on what's clearly a gold mine? Well, I'm about to show you exactly what happened, and when you hear this next clip, you're gonna understand why this whole situation is way more complicated than just designing a shoe takes time.
Which kind of made me feel even more confident that that was going on before the season started. Now look when he said this. This is April 18th. 2024. All right, they started their season in May. Check this out.
Portfolio, obviously a lot has been made recently about WNBA salaries, but I will say her business portfolio off the court, she is making significant money off the court. And, you know, to get a signature shoe before you ever step foot on the pro level, that's a big, big deal.
How do you mean?
One more time.
The court. And, you know, to get a signature shoe before you ever step foot on the pro level, that's a big, big
Did you hear what Shams just said? To get a signature shoe before you ever step foot on the pro level, that's a big deal. This was April 18th, 2024. The WNBA season started in May. Shams Charania, one of the most plugged-in reporters in basketball, is basically confirming that Jaylen Clark was getting a signature shoe before her rookie season. And this isn't speculation. Shams doesn't drop information like this unless he's heard it from multiple sources inside these companies. So Nike was absolutely planning to release her signature shoe immediately. They were fast-tracking the entire process. And here's what makes this even more significant. Compare this to how Nike handled other athletes. LeBron James got his first signature shoe before playing a single NBA game. Michael Jordan obviously got his immediately. When Nike identifies a generational talent, they don't wait around. They strike while the iron is scorching hot. So what changed between April and now? Why did those shoes never materialize? Because something happened that made Nike completely reverse course, and I'm about to show you the exact timeline of how this all fell apart.
It got a little wonky. The Nike started, I don't know, they started acting like they were shelving the idea, and then they started, focusing on A'ja Wilson shoes. But the thing about it is, what came out later is that A'ja knew about the process of getting her shoes done, right? And if you're going to tell me that it takes that process every time to get your shoes done.
Okay, so listen to what he's saying here. He specifically remembers seeing hype about signature shoes. Then once A'ja had that article come out, it got a little wonky. Now we're getting to the real story. See, what happened was A'ja Wilson gave an interview where she talked about the process of getting her signature shoe, and suddenly the entire narrative around Jaylen's shoe changed. Nike started acting like they were shelving the idea and pivoting hard to promoting A'ja's shoe instead. But here's where the math stops mathing. A'ja Wilson is a two-time MVP, a champion, arguably the best player in the WNBA right now. She absolutely deserves a signature shoe. Nobody's debating that. But from a pure business perspective, you don't cancel or delay a Jaylen Clark shoe to focus on A'ja. You do both. You capitalize on both. Nike is a multi-billion-dollar company with the resources to handle multiple signature shoes simultaneously. They've done it forever with male athletes. So why would they suddenly act like it's one or the other? What's the real reason they pumped the brakes on the most hyped women's basketball player since ever?
I think they would have made a heap of amount of money. A heap of amount of money, fam. I mean, they still can, but she did lose a certain amount of people with the white privilege stuff. And I stated that in a video last year too. I was like, you strike the iron while it's hot, man. You never know what could happen. She could say something, she could do something, and now all of a sudden people not rocking with her. Man, to see them fumble that bag was ridiculous work. A big, oh no.
Now check out what he's saying about timing. They strike the iron while it's hot. She could say something, she could do something, and now all of a sudden people not rocking with her. And boom, that's exactly what happened. Jaylen made comments about white privilege that alienated a portion of her fan base. Now before anybody comes at me, I'm not here to debate the politics of what she said. What I'm talking about is pure business strategy. Nike had a window. They had this massive cultural moment where Jaylen Clark was bringing millions of new eyeballs to women's basketball. Casual fans who never watched before were suddenly tuning in. That's the moment you release the shoe. That's when you capture lightning in a bottle. But they waited, and during that wait, the narrative got more complicated. The discourse got messier, and some of that initial universal appeal started fragmenting. This is marketing 101. When you have a red-hot commodity, you move immediately. You don't give time for controversy or fatigue to set in. But here's what's even crazier about Nike's decision-making here, and this is where it gets into some behind-the-scenes politics that most people never heard about.
They were really going to get those shoes out. Now, we know Shams be dropping all type of behind-the-scenes information, right? Dropping bombs all over the internet. So I believe Shams knew something. Shams knew something at this point, man. Oh, look, somebody said it right here. I'm so happy that Jaylen Clark is getting a signature shoe. This was April 17th. But I am also genuinely confused as to how someone with the below accolades still doesn't have a signature shoe.
So now we've got someone pointing out the obvious question. How does someone with Sabrina Ionescu's accomplishments still not have a signature shoe while having to do collaborations just to boost relevance? This is the pattern that keeps repeating at Nike. They have this weird hesitation with women's basketball signatures. They'll do PEs, they'll do collaborations, they'll do limited releases, but committing to a full signature line, that's where they get cold feet, except they were ready to break that pattern for Jaylen Clark. All the industry insiders were saying it. The timeline was set, and then they blinked. Now let's talk about what that hesitation actually cost them, because we can see it playing out in real time. You've got NFL players wearing her PEs, NBA players choosing jersey numbers because of her, top recruits in multiple sports gravitating toward her brand, and Nike is sitting on the sidelines watching all of this organic marketing happen without being able to fully capitalize on it. Meanwhile, every day that passes is another day that other shoe companies are sliding into her DMs with offers.
Say Grand Theft Auto wearing the shoes. Look at this, fam. I mean, the next thing I'm gonna see is some of those women golfers wearing the PEs. Baseball players wearing the PEs. That's gonna be next. You even have some players in the NBA picking their number.
Look at this reach. Grand Theft Auto characters wearing her shoes. We're talking about cultural penetration that goes way beyond basketball. This is crossover appeal that brands would kill for, and it's happening completely organically without Nike even having an official signature shoe to sell. Imagine if they had actual product in the market right now. Imagine if when Stefon Diggs wore those shoes, people could go online and buy the Jaylen Clark 1S instead of just a PE colorway. The missed revenue is staggering, but here's what's really fascinating about this whole situation. It reveals something deeper about how Nike views women's sports. Because let's compare this to how they handled male athletes with similar height. When Zion Williamson was the hottest name in basketball, Nike moved heaven and earth to sign him and get his shoe out. When Jay Moran exploded onto the scene, same thing. But with women's basketball, there's always this hesitation, this over-calculation, this waiting to see if the hype is real or sustainable.
New man, Jaylen Superwoman Clark never seems to stop amazing. Alright, I mean, every time I look around, something crazy is going on around her name, man. We're about to get all the way into it, but before we do that, y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for your boy. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 34.6, so if you can help me out with that, I highly appreciate it. And don't forget to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this one. Let's get
Listen to the genuine amazement in his voice. Jaylen Superwoman Clark never seems to stop amazing. Every time I look around, something crazy is going on around her name. This is the reaction of someone who covers sports constantly, and even he's blown away by the frequency of Jaylen Clark moments. She's not just having a moment, she's sustaining a cultural phenomenon, and that's the part Nike miscalculated. I think they assumed the hype would die down after March Madness. They thought once she got to the WNBA, the casual fans would move on to the next thing, but that's not what happened. The phenomenon kept growing. The golf appearance went viral. The attendance records kept shattering. The jersey sales kept breaking records. And through all of this, Nike is still sitting on their hands about the signature shoe. Now here's where we need to talk about the real consequence of all this waiting, because it's not just about missed revenue in year one.
shared that he wears number 22 as a tribute to Clark after he couldn't take 0 because his teammate Dante already had it. Come on, man. Now look at what he said. I wore 0, and then when Dante came, I gave the number to him. And then I'm like, I'm close to Iowa and Jaylen Clark, so I put 22. Hopefully, I get some jersey sales. Come on, man. Oh my goodness. Even he knows what's going on with the Jaylen Clark motion, man. I mean, even he knows what's going on with the Jaylen Clark motion. It's crazy.
So Jaylen Clark, an NBA player, straight up says I'm close to Iowa, and Jaylen Clark, so I put 22. Hopefully I get some jersey sales. He's literally banking on the Jaylen Clark Association to boost his own merchandise. Think about the power dynamic there. An NBA player is using a WNBA rookie's name recognition to try and sell more jerseys. That's unprecedented. That's the kind of crossover influence that transcends leagues and gender barriers. And what's wild is he's not embarrassed about it. He's saying it openly because everybody knows the Caitlin Clark effect is real. This is the moment when you realize we're watching something historic unfold. Not just in terms of basketball talent, but in terms of cultural impact and marketing power. And Nike had the chance to be at the center of this, to own this moment completely. Instead, they're watching from the sidelines while her influence spreads without them being able to fully monetize it. But the question everyone should be asking is what happens next?
And I'm just like, fam, look at how many people are rocking the PEs. And Nike didn't even give her the signature shoe. I get it, they're postponing it, they're doing all this other stuff. I'm gonna get into that a little bit after I'm done talking about seeing the shoes everywhere. Right now, AJ got these shoes on going crazy. I mean, even Jose.
Check out AJ Dybantsa leaping out of the gym with the PEs on. This kid is projected to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft in a few years. He's the future of basketball, and he's choosing to wear Caitlin Clark's shoes, not LeBron's, not KD's, not Giannis's, Caitlin Clark's. Now think about what that means for Nike's long-term strategy. If the next generation of NBA stars is already gravitating toward Caitlin's brand, that's not just about one signature shoe release. That's about building an entire ecosystem around her influence. That's about capturing the loyalty of fans who are just starting to form their brand preferences. And Nike is letting that opportunity slip through their fingers because of whatever internal politics or miscalculations led them to delay her signature shoe. The ripple effects of this decision are going to be felt for years, because once another brand swoops in and gives her the signature line she deserves, all of these athletes wearing her PEs might start switching to that brand entirely. So here's what this all comes down to. Nike had a once-in-a-generation opportunity to capitalize on the biggest phenomenon in women's sports history. They had the athlete under contract. They had the hype at an all-time high. They had industry insiders confirming the signature shoe was coming. And then they hesitated. Whether it was internal politics, concerns about controversy, or pressure to prioritize other athletes, they let the moment slip. And now we're watching in real time as Caitlin Clark's influence spreads across multiple sports without Nike having a signature product to sell. NFL players, NBA players, top recruits, video game characters. Everyone's gravitating toward her brand. The question is whether Nike can recover from this fumble, or if they just handed a competitor the blueprint for how to build the next iconic signature shoe in women's sports. Because one thing's for sure, whoever finally gives Caitlin Clark the signature shoe she deserves is about to make an absolutely ridiculous amount of money.